Problem number 1, the weight of expectations. Last season, no one expected Barcelona to be this good.
I still don't think that this team is quite where they need to be in order to compete consistently with Real Madrid.
New coach, limited transfers, a squad full of youngsters. It looked like another rebuilding year.
Now it's about how does Flick set the team up to get the best out of the whole squad. He's got to figure out the best way to play.
Even the most optimistic fans thought that it would take time. But Hansi Flick shocked the world. He brought back the winning mentality, crushed Real Madrid multiple times, and walked away with 3 trophies. Suddenly, Barca weren't rebuilding anymore. They were back to being one of the most dominant teams in the world. But now, the underdog label is gone. In 2026, winning is the bare minimum. At a club like Barca, pressure is always high. One bad result and the media loses their minds.
Should Xavi be in charge of Barcelona next season? No, he probably shouldn't, the way this season has gone.
But now that the fans have seen what Flick can do, the expectations have skyrocketed. The league, that's expected. The Copa del Rey, expected. The Champions League, also expected. A double isn't enough anymore. Barca fans want it all. And the pressure doesn't just sit on Flick's shoulders. It's on the players too. Take Rafinha. The man had a Ballon d'Or level season. He was on fire in 2025.
Since Hansi Flick has come in, he has been exceptional, playing without a doubt the best that we've seen in a Barca shirt.
Goals.
Left by Lamine. This is Rafinha. What a strike that is! It's come off Sommer and found the back of the net.
Assists.
This is Pedri. That's Rafinha. And that's Ferran Torres. And Barca.
Pressing. He was everywhere on the pitch, leading like a true captain. The performances that he put on against Bayern and Real Madrid, legendary stuff. He put up Cristiano Ronaldo level numbers in the Champions League and was named La Liga Player of the Season. But now fans expect him to do it again. Anything less will be seen as a drop-off. Then there's Yamal. He's not just a young talent anymore. He's Barcelona's new number 10.
She told my baby he danced to 3. She looked at me, then showed a photo. Baby cried, his eyes were like mine.
That number carries a lot of weight. We've seen what happens when the pressure gets to players who wear it. Just ask Ansu Fati. Now Yamal could stop playing football tomorrow and he would have already surpassed Fati's legacy. But it's a reminder to him to be humble and to take care of his body. Less time hiring dwarves, more time stretching. Yamal was unreal in the 2025 season, but everyone wants to see more. More goals, more iconic moments. The pressure around a player has never been higher.
Let's just see if he can get anywhere close to doing what he did last season, next season.
Yamal is the new face of Barcelona. In fact, scratch that. He's the new face of football. Everyone sees it, and that's why everything he does is overanalyzed to the last second. He gets some pizza, and suddenly Fabrizio is tweeting about it. The fairy tale season is over. Now it's about proving it wasn't a fluke. And for Flick and his team, that pressure is heavier than ever. Problem number 2, finding the right midfield partnerships. In 2026, one of the biggest surprises under Hansi Flick was how well the midfield clicked, especially early on. Most people expected Marc Bernal and Pedri to form the core, but then Bernal tore his ACL, and suddenly everything changed. In came Casado, and out of nowhere, he became the perfect partner for Pedri. Pedri was doing what he always does, controlling the tempo, gliding past players, picking out the perfect passes, but now Casado was the muscle behind him. He sat back, he broke up the play, he cleaned up everything. But then came another twist. Frankie de Jong returned from injury, and when he did, Flick put him straight back into the team. The Pedri de Jong duo looked magical. 2 midfielders who could dribble, pass, and take over the game. Trying to win the ball off of them was like me trying to get Madison Beer's number. It's just not happening. Fast forward to the new season and everybody's healthy. As a result, Flick has a bit of a dilemma on his hands. Does Bernal walk straight back into the lineup? After all, he was supposed to be the main defensive midfielder before the injury. Or is de Jong ahead of him now? What about Casado? He was excellent last season and proved that he can really thrive under pressure. Then there's Gavi. He's been used a lot as a number 10, but if we're being honest, he's probably better as an 8. He's got insane energy and fights for every ball. But he can't be the only one responsible for the defensive work. He's not a natural sole pivot like Bernal or Casado. So where exactly does he fit? We know Pedri is a guaranteed starter. He's the conductor of this team.
He makes it look so simple, so easy. So what he's doing seems like it's normal, right? That I'm able to get this touch away from this pressure and I already know where the next pass is gonna go. The difference is that it's not easy. It's not.
But who partners him? That's the big question that Flick has to answer. And it doesn't stop there. In front of them, who plays as the number 10? Now that Rashford is here, Barcelona finally have a proper left winger that frees up Rafinha to move back into the middle, which is great because he was already drifting inside last season anyways. He was listed as a winger, but he played more like a central creator, so letting him play as a true 10 makes sense. But then what happens to Dani Olmo? On his day, Olmo was incredible. Smooth on the ball, smart with his movement, and he can even play a false 9 if needed. But he can also be a bit frustrating. He disappeared in some big games, and even worse, he's almost guaranteed to miss 2 to 3 months a year with injury. That kind of unreliability makes it difficult to build a system around him. And then there's Fermin Lopez. While someone like Olmo plays with grace and finesse, Fermin plays like he's mad at the entire world. He's direct, aggressive, and hungry. You can feel the chip on his shoulder every time he touches the ball. He's got the energy of a true hater, and it works. It's great though that Barca have options, a lot of them, and with so many different competitions from La Liga to Copa del Rey to the Champions League, everyone will get minutes. But that's not the problem. The real challenge is picking the right players for the right games. Flick is gonna have to manage the egos of all the players, injuries, cause remember, as humble as many of the players at Barca are, everyone from Pedri to Fermin want to start. It's a good problem to have, but it's still a problem, because getting the balance wrong could cost Barca everything. Problem number 3, integrating the new player. Marcus Rashford is finally a Barcelona player. For years, the club had kept an eye on him. They tried to sign him back in 2019 when he was one of England's hottest young talent. They even tried again in 2022. But this isn't the Rashford from those years. This is a version of Rashford that has been through a lot. He's had dips in form, media pressure, and a loan move to Aston Villa that didn't quite revive him. He had some good moments, but nothing crazy. No one was rushing to pay big money for him. That's how far his stock had fallen. And yet, this move might be perfect. Barcelona didn't get Nico Williams. I guess that guy is obsessed with sticking with his brother and going trophyless. Then they couldn't convince Liverpool to sell Luis Diaz. So instead, they went for Rashford, a player who once had a £100 million price tag. Flick wanted him, and now he's here. In a team that attacks relentlessly, at a club where he'll see more of the ball and surrounded by better players, Rashford has the perfect opportunity to showcase his abilities. Imagine going from Garnacho and Højlund to Yamal and Lewandowski. No wonder Rashford hasn't stopped smiling in photos and videos. For Rashford, this is a fresh start. For Flick though, it's a new challenge, because Flick now has to find the right system to bring out Rashford's best. We know Rashford is versatile. He can play as a left winger, a second striker, even up top if needed, but he's the most dangerous when he's flying down that left wing, cutting inside onto his right foot. And for the first time in his career, arguably, he's joining a team that actually wants to play attacking football. But trust me, this won't be easy. Barca fans are excited, but cautious. Rashford can't hide here. He has to embrace the culture, connect with the fans, and more than anything, perform. This isn't Manchester. The media is more intense. The expectations are higher. And the patience, it's very thin. The good thing is Hansi Flick speaks English, he pushed for this move, and he knows that Rashford needs the right environment and the right system to find his form again. It's on Flick and Rashford himself to make sure that he doesn't become another expensive name that fades away. Because if Barca can get this right, if they can tap into Rashford's potential and give him the confidence that he needs, this could be one of the best deals they have made in years. A motivated Rashford, surrounded by world-class talents, could, in theory, thrive. And if you guys want to get yourself the new Barca jersey with Rashford on the back, just go to buygamejerseys.com and use code PETTALKS at checkout. The other player that Flick has to integrate is John Garcia. Now, it should be a lot easier for this man because he's already established himself in La Liga, is Spanish, is comfortable with the country and culture because he's already lived there, and more importantly, he's coming off the back of one of the best seasons in his career. Last season at Espanyol, Garcia was arguably the best goalkeeper in the league, and now he's made the move across the city to wear the Blaugrana. It's a massive switch, not just in footballing terms but emotionally too. Hardly anyone goes from Espanyol to Barca. The rivalry runs deep, and Garcia knew that he'd leave behind fans who once adored him, only to now see him as a traitor. But he's made the right choice. For his career, for his family, now he has the chance to fight for trophies at the highest level. This is a move that has been in the works for a while. Barcelona had their eyes on him, and Garcia wanted to go somewhere where he could actually play and not just warm the bench like Endrick. Because at Espanyol, the highest you're fighting for is to not get relegated. Arsenal wanted him a year ago, but as a backup to Raya. Garcia said no. He believed in himself and waited for the right opportunity. Now it's here, and the challenge for Hansi Flick is to integrate him properly. He'll fit into the dressing room just fine. It's Flick's tactics that will take some more time to adjust to. Because playing as the goalie under Hansi Flick is not easy, just ask Szczesny. The high defensive line means the keeper has to act like a sweeper, constantly reading danger before it happens, racing off their line, and being able to start attacks from the back. One mistake, it's a goal. Just ask Ter Stegen. And for new signings, it can take some time to adjust. But if there's one player that can hit the ground running, it's Joan Garcia. He's confident with the ball at his feet, he's very quick off his line, and he's got great reflexes. And not only is he a great athlete, his mentality is very strong. This is someone who left his boyhood club, handled all the noise around the transfer like a pro, and now steps into one of the most pressure-filled roles in world football. The funniest part is that his biggest obstacle is probably not even going to be the tactics. It's going to be Marc-Andre Ter Stegen. The German is still around, still under contract, but the reality is the club sees Joan Garcia as the future. He was told right away that he would be the #1 keeper, but Flick will still have to manage it carefully, because as we have seen from multiple reports and years of stories, Ter Stegen doesn't like competition. It was because of him that Bravo was sold, and it was Ter Stegen who created a lot of controversy in the back end of the 2025 season when he came back from injury. There's even reports now that Barca want to take away his captaincy. In his mind, he still thinks it's 2015, but the club has moved on. Will he accept it without creating a scene? I don't think so. He's already posted a tweet giving his own timetable for his recovery before the club did. Flick, by the way, knows that Ter Stegen is an oddball from their time together on the German national team. So he knows that this transition isn't going to be as seamless as everyone thinks. Thankfully though, Joan Garcia isn't just another signing, he's the goalkeeper of the next era. If everything clicks, Barca could have their next great keeper for the next decade. The other new guy that Flick will have to integrate is Roony Bardghji. If you played Football Manager, you would have heard his name before. Now though, he's no longer the Swedish wonder kid from a video game, he's officially a Barcelona player. Rooney's story is actually something special. He was born in Kuwait, raised in Sweden, and now playing for the club he used to wear on his shirt as a kid. He's just 19 years old, but he's already scored a winner against Manchester United in the Champions League and made over 80 senior appearances in Denmark. He speaks 4 languages, has posters of Messi on his wall, and has learned the game from watching the GOAT play.
Den här videon till exempel har jag sett kanske 1000 gånger, så det var jag bara repetera om det.
Rooney's path to Barca hasn't been the easiest. He was flying high in 2023, then got hit with a serious knee injury in 2024 that kept him out for almost a whole year. He missed time with his club and country, and is only now finding his way back. And now that he has landed at Barca, Flick has a new project on his hands. The German has to find a way to get the best out of the Swede. Rooney is raw, but there's real talent there. He's a right winger who loves to cut inside and create danger. He modeled his game after Messi, and you can see it in the way he dribbles, shifts his body, and finds space. He's not the fastest player nor the strongest, but he's very clever, and he sees the game differently than most 19-year-olds. Now the only problem for him is the right wing position at Barca is already owned by one of the best players in world football, so he won't walk into the lineup, and I'm sure he knows that, but he still has a lot of value. He is a great backup option on the right, and he can even play as the 10. In that central role, he wouldn't have to cover as much ground, and he'd have more time on the ball to pick his moments. So the challenge is on Flick. How do you give minutes to someone like Rooney for him to develop while keeping a team balanced? On paper, he's a dream profile. Low cost, high potential. Someone who could explode if given the right environment. But this is Barca, and the expectations are huge. The good thing is Rooney's confidence isn't lacking. He said it himself, he wants to be the best in the world. He believes in himself. But he'll need game time. He'll need the right coaching and the patience to get there. Flick has to make sure that Rooney doesn't get lost in the shuffle. He can't just sit on the bench or float around the B team. If managed right, he could be a weapon off the bench, a creative spark in certain games, and eventually, maybe even a starter. Problem number 4, the lack of depth in certain positions. While Barca did improve their depth slightly, Flick still has certain positions where there isn't a lot of cover. At left back, for example, Balde doesn't really have a proper backup. Sure, Gerard Martin stepped up and did a decent job when asked, but he isn't even the same profile. Balde was a speedy fullback who single-handedly provided width on the left. It was his presence that allowed Rafinha to roam. His speed was vital both with and without the ball. He could chase down a winger in one play, then grab the ball and beat 2 to 3 defenders in the other. But now, if he gets injured like he did in the back end of the 2025 season, his backup is essentially a center back playing at left back. It's hard for Gerard Martin to replicate what Balde does when they are 2 completely different players. And I know people keep wanting to glaze his assist against Inter, but there's a reason the majority of the goals conceded that night came from Martin's side. Then there's the striker situation. Robert Lewandowski is still elite, but he's getting older.
Lewandowski is of a certain age now, let's just put it that way, and he's in the final year of his contract.
At this point, you can't expect him to play every 3 days. Thankfully, in the 2025 season, Ferran Torres stepped up when Lewa was injured. He was brilliant during that stretch, and nobody will forget his goal in the Copa del Rey final. But the question now is, can Ferran replicate his 2025 season again? Can Lewandowski stay healthy throughout an entire year? Are these two enough for Barca to compete for the Copa del Rey, La Liga, and the Champions League? Even on the wings, where things look better on paper with Rashford, Rafinha, Yamal, and Roony, there's not a lot of cover. What happens if Rafinha or Yamal picks up an injury? One of the backups becomes a starter and suddenly there's no one left behind them. And this is a real issue. Barca's squad still isn't as deep as the other elite teams in Europe. You look at City, Liverpool, Chelsea, these guys can rotate 5 to 6 players at a time and they won't see that big of a drop off in quality. Barca, they're depending on a handful of players to stay fit and carry the load all season long. Flick has done a great job building a system, developing the young stars, and bringing out the best in the team. But if injuries hit, or if certain players don't hit the same levels again, Barca could be stretched thin. Thankfully, the German has a blueprint on how to succeed, a plan that he has been using since his Bayern days. To see how Flick transformed Barca using that blueprint, you have to check out this video right here.